What's up everyone? Thanks for joining me here at Sunwood Metals. So today I want to share with you a design that I was able to do for a food truck in Vegas. You probably have heard of them because they are absolutely amazing. The food truck is 303 in the cut. So I got the call to make this sign from one of his friends, and we decided to go with a sign that was kind of more of a plaque style. I gave him a couple options, and I'm going to show you these options that I proposed to him. There's a few options of having all the lettering and the knives just drop out completely. And then there was a couple options for having kind of like a halo positive negative look on the signs. And ultimately we kind of decided on a half and half, and it was definitely the right call. We went with that style because when you had the positive negatives on both the lettering and the knives, it kind of threw off the look of the lettering, because as you'll see here, you have to have little tabs that hang on to the letters. So to give the illusion that there's a halo on it, you still have to have tabs that connect to it, and it just didn't quite feel right. So we went ahead and just did a negative on all those letters and decided to hand paint the knives. So I'm going to show you through that process. It's kind of a timely process, so I went ahead and I just sped through a lot of it. So, but you'll get to see the whole overall effect, how I created it, and some of the mess ups that I had along the way, because I found out a few things, and hopefully I can share those items with you so that if you make a project like this, you don't go through what I went through. So this is why we always clean our surfaces before we do any painting. You can see the top here I have wiped down, but the bottom I have not. And this is just some residue from when we grinded all the slag off, and just a little bit of what was left over. So it's very important that we clean our surfaces really good. Make sure there's no debris, no oils on there, and that way we can get the best adhesion for the paint as possible. So I painted the first layer black, and I'm going to do a little texture over top of it now. But I don't want the knives to get texture, so I'm going to go ahead and put on my vinyl here. This is just a cheap vinyl from the dollar store because I don't want something that's going to stick too well. So I'll probably actually put it against my pant legs to get a little fiber on there.
A few moments later.
And that way it has even less sticking. Okay, so it is on there. I'm not really going for a perfect coverage of that because I do plan to paint the knives. I just need something on there so that way when I add the texture painting, you don't get all those extra textured, hammered appearance in there. I just realized I wasn't recording for this part, but so what I'm doing here is I'm blending a little bit of the silver to add to the bottom of the knives. And I'm just using a basic hobbyist dauber and blending it on another paper first, so that way it hopefully comes out a little more even. And I'm guessing I'll have to do this with the black over the top to kind of help blend it in a little bit better. So in the part you just watched of me painting the knives, I flew right through it, but what I did use was these little testers paint. They're in enamel and I love them for painting my metal signs. You have such a variety of colors and they're just pretty easy to work with to blend as you need it. So these guys, I love them for painting the metal signs and they hold up really good. When I was painting the black knives though, I did the silver and then I taped it off and I did the black. Well, one of the things that I learned was that I didn't really like the way that the textured looked on the knives. I really wanted it to just be a super clean metal. And that's why I taped it off before I did the hammer tone, was because I wanted them to be that really kind of like just a true metal, like no texture to it. So when I did the dauber for the testers on it, I ended up getting that textured look and I didn't want that. So what I ended up doing, I tried a few different products to kind of remove the paint, and I was afraid of using any type of acetone because I knew that would like really take it all the way down and I did not want that. But what I found was I used just a regular Prep All and that actually removed the tester paint, the tester enamel paint, but it did not remove all the way down to the spray paint that I had used at the beginning of the whole project. So that worked wonderful. I was able to remove just the enamel tester paint, the coloring that I did. So I kept it where I taped off for the silver, and then I removed pretty much all the black on there of the enamel paint. I kept all the spray paint on there. And I was so happy that that worked out because I was really fearful that I was gonna have to completely just like sandblast the whole sign and start over again. But we got really lucky and I did not have to do that. And actually it turned out so good. However, if you do the prep all and you remove it, you can kind of go through the spray paint if you use too much of it or if you scrub too vigorously. So definitely be aware of that. These knives, they had kind of a little bit of a lineage through them, but that was kind of what I was also going for because I wanted them to look like true knives. So that texture made it look like they had been used knives, like they were real knives that he would use in his food truck. So and as you're going to see here with this silver, so at first when I applied the silver to the knives, I just did the Doppler. That was just to get the base coat. What I did after that, because I wanted it to look like more of a used knife, I wanted kind of lines in there. So what I did is I took these paint brushes, and I get them really cheap. They're just a whole like 100 pack on Amazon, and I use them for all my various paint projects and my sign work. And I just take them over top of the garbage can and I just snip off little random bits because these are fan brushes and I don't want a uniform look. So there's a lot of nature stuff that I paint and I want to have very sporadic paint lines. I don't want it to be uniform. So I did the same thing with these knives. I cut it in a bunch of funny ways and then I dipped it in my silver and I just ran the paintbrush down just along the blade. So I was able to give the knives kind of that true knife, a used knife feel. And that's just something I love doing with these custom designs, is just putting in little twerks and little tweaks that just make it a true custom piece. So at this point of the video, I have the knives painted, the whole sign, the front and back painted, in just the way that I want it to look. So what I'm doing at this point now is I'm going to take it to my friend who does some automotive painting, and he actually put a really nice clear coat on that sign for me, and he did a wonderful job, and it just made the whole sign just pop. Now, if any of you guys are wondering why I didn't just powder coat it after I painted it, well, when you powder coat something, a couple things, it gets baked on, so it gets sent through an oven. And that oven would essentially just burn off any of the paint that I put on first. That's one of the things. The other thing is when you powder coat an item, you need the powder to go directly on the metal. There's some situations where it might be okay, like when I do my acid stainings on some of my other signs, I can powder coat those. But when you powder coat, you need it to go straight onto the metal because it needs to be able to bond to that metal. If it bonds to the spray paint that is on top of the metal, well, that spray paint can come off the metal. So your powder coat can then come off the metal. So, but when you put your powder coat directly onto the metal, then it adheres really good, and that's where you get that durability from the powder coating. My other option could have been that I powder coated it first, but since I really wanted the two textures, the background texture to be one and then the knives to be another texture, there again, I was kind of torn with, well, what do I do? Because my favorite powder coating is the black texture, but I didn't want the knives to be texturized. So I just probably kind of went the harder way and did it the way that I did it. But I think the overall result, being able to do the vehicle clear coat on there, that still is just as durable. And I was able to play around and have a little bit more freedom when it came to the painting and the styling of it. So if you're wondering about the powder coat option, that's it. Well, guys, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you for staying tuned with all that, because I know I can be a little winded sometimes, but I appreciate it so much. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Send me an email or comment below. I'm always happy to help, and if you have some tips for me, I'd be happy to have those too. Also, if you would like to like the channel, no. Also, if you would like to like the video and subscribe to my channel, I would really, really appreciate it.
Have you ever had a dream that you do?
I love doing the custom signage, and it's so much fun being able to work with the customer one-on-one to create something that's truly unique and special. But I do a lot of other items, as you can see probably throughout the background here. We do a lot of metal art, wood art, CNC, just machining in general, and we also just got a laser. So I'll be using my new X tool in some of these videos that I'll be posting in the future, which I'm going to be posting more of them. So thank you for staying tuned. Again, I really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.